222 222 Good. All right, we're ready to go. We're going to start recording this unbelievably ridiculous video. Incredible. An article came out yesterday in the ABC that if you weren't fully aware of what was going on and it was written on April the 1st, you would swear black and blue that this was an April Fool's joke. However, it wasn't. And I'm going to read the article in full, and I'm going to pause at points where I cannot believe that this is what they call journalism in 2022, but yet I can exactly believe that this is what they call journalism in 2022. I'd like you to consider this as a nomination for the best article ever to go towards the Babylon Bees articles of all time for great humor and what should be considered satire as we go through this article. Melbourne festival goers accuse the UAP of targeting the community with free hats. If that's not funny enough as it goes, it gets a whole lot better. I'm going to read the article out as it appeared in ABC Radio Melbourne yesterday on April 1st. Residents in Melbourne's West have accused the United Australia Party of targeting children, the elderly and non-English speaking community members in a free hat handout ahead of the federal election. But United Party Australia leader Craig Kelly has rejected the allegations and said he was only encouraging candidates and volunteers to be entrepreneurial. Maribyrnong City Councillor Michael Clark said yellow hats with the United Australia Party logo on the front and the word freedom on the back were handed out to Yarraville Festival attendees at the weekend. But he told ABC Radio Melbourne party representatives seemed to be approaching children and did not appear to be explaining their policies to those taking hats. No one's got a problem with any political party carrying a political agenda, he said, but what's clear here is that the United Australia Party need to do this in a way that actually allows for political debate. Wow. So the beef here with giving away a free hat is that the party is not explaining their political policies. Well, I would love to explain my party's political policies, except the media doesn't allow us to do this by inviting us on and allowing us to explain our political policies. On the contrary, it provides untold amount of airtime to both Labor and Liberal to explain their policies. Well, how about that, ABC? And it turns out that Michael Clark from the Maribyrnong Council is saying that it's clear here that United Australia Party need to do this in a way that actually allows for political debate. Well, I'll tell you right now, I will debate anyone of any political persuasion, Labor, Liberal, Greens, Nationals, and all of the minor parties in any forum, anywhere, at any time of the day or night, at any possible juncture, and I don't even need to bring my notes in, provided no one else bring in theirs. No problem whatsoever. Let's continue with the story. They go out and give out these hats to kids, and there are people from a non-English speaking background who don't know really what the messaging is. It's deception by omission. What? Deception by omission. Not giving you details of what the yellow hat means. Well, as you can see on the screen now, the hat has the party logo. Look at that. United Australia Party, reunite the nation, vote one, United Australia Party. And on the back, it says freedom. Freedom. Freedom has now become a dirty word or an F word in the eyes of what we must only say here in the ABC and Michael Clark's commentary as wokeism. So let's continue with the article. Mr. Clark also said Victorian Labor and the Victorian Socialists had stalls at the festival, and the Victorian Socialists were asked to remove offensive paraphernalia. Good. That's fair, and if it is offensive paraphernalia, it should be removed, but the word freedom is hardly offensive. Now, it continues. Stella from West Sunshine told ABC Radio Melbourne she was working at Yarraville Festival. She said her dad received a hat at the Yarraville Festival, and when she asked him what it represented, he could not tell her. They were 100% targeting elderly, frail people who are very, very hot and bothered, she said. My father still has this hat, and I asked him this morning, do you know what this hat is about? He said no. His English is limited. They don't understand. Julie from Yarraville said her 11-year-old child was given a United Australia Party hat at the festival without her consent. Oh boy, this is just hysterical. Julie said her 11-year-old child was given a hat without her consent. So here's a hat. Here's a hat. Would you like this hat? Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, no, thank you. But I don't know how you can give a hat without someone's consent. Do you put it on their head and you run away and the person gets stuck with it and is humiliated and can't do anything with the hat? Or is it a case of, would you like a hat? Yes, I would. Thank you very much. But without consent. Now, just on that, just as the person who established the group A Million Mums for Informed Consent, I'm very aware of what informed consent is, in particular, how it applies in the constitution of this country and has been ignored entirely by the governments who have said you need to take this vaccine and you need to do it now. So informed consent comes with two sides to every story. Let's continue with the article. Julie from Yarraville continued by saying, I object to her being used for political promotion, she said. Okay. Amy from West Footscray said she also saw United Australia Party representative. Amy from West Footscray said she also saw United Australia Party representatives approaching children at the Yarraville Festival. They approached a group of young children who were maybe 5 to 7 who were playing nearby their parents, she said. Rachel from Footscray said she attended Laverton Market 2 weeks ago and saw a sea of people wearing United Australia Party hats, from toddlers to the elderly. Well, toddlers to the elderly also includes everyone in between. Let's not get the facts get in the way of a good story, ABC. Craig Kelly rejects allegations, but United Australia Party leader Craig Kelly told Virginia Trioli on ABC Radio Melbourne he strongly rejects those allegations that were made. How can you walk up to someone knowing that they are a non-English speaking person, he said. He said the Melbourne United Australia Party candidates he spoke to told him they only approached parents at local events. They said they only went up to the parents and asked the parents, would you like your hat for your kids? He said handing out hats was a great initiative. We should be entrepreneurial. Go out there, promote the party, he said. I think our candidates there in Melbourne had a lot. I think our candidates there in Melbourne, you had a hot day. I thought it was a great initiative of them. Electoral laws do not appear to be a concern in this instance. An Australian Electoral Commission spokesperson said electoral laws do not limit the placement of political signage or the conduct of campaigning activities with the exception of proximity to a voting venue during the election. Electoral laws do require campaigning materials to be appropriately authorised so people know who is communicating with them, but this does not appear to be a concern in this instance, the spokesperson said. With regard to the appropriateness of campaigning at a local festival or market, there may be restrictions in place that are the authority of the relevant local council or event organisers themselves. It is understood the rules for Yarraville Festival and Laverton Market are determined and enforced by their respective managements and not by local council. While the Yarraville Festival Committee declined to comment, Mr. Clark said he understood the United Australia Party candidate for Gellibrand, Abraham Isaac, informed the festival organisers he would be attending. Mr. Isaac confirmed he was at Yarraville Festival and Laverton Market, but did not respond to questions about the handing out of hats and whether specific individuals were targeted. Laverton Market has not yet responded to a request for comment. In-your-face campaigning. Australian National University political marketing expert Andrew Hughes said the United Australia Party wanted lots of people to wear the hats, so it looked like they were appealing to a wide section of the community. Well, that's a very good analysis there, Andrew. And that's what all political parties do by putting up signs and call flutes on both public and private property, by disseminating marketing material far and wide, and letterbox dropping the entire electorate with both direct mail and indirect mail using stamps and not using stamps. It's also why political parties pay for advertising and also on the television, radio, and print media, and often compete to get onto the media, such as the ABC, so that their policies may well be heard, because all political candidates believe that they are the best person for the job to represent both their electorates, the people of those electorates, and the country from which they will serve in the next government of Australia. So thank you, Andrew, for that very, very wise call that you've made as somebody working at the Australian National University. Let's get back to the article. Andrew went on to continue Andrew went on, and I quote, "It's a bit naughty of the United Australia Party," he said. "They'll use plausible deniability as a defence. They will say, we gave it out and they took it." Well, that's right. That wouldn't be plausible deniability. They offered and it was accepted. No one was forced to take a hat. So what they're saying here is that Andrew is saying that no one is forced to take a hat, or he's saying that they may have been forced to take it. And earlier, the residents of the local area are complaining that nobody gave them what the policies were so that they could choose to take this particular hat. So Hughes continues in the article, but they're tapping into that community feel and trying to give people a sense they're a part of a larger movement. Isn't that what marketing is all about? Dr. Hughes said most political parties did not use this kind of advertising because it was proven not to be as effective as getting consent. What? Dr. Andrew Hughes, from the Australian National University, a political marketing expert, has now told us that people don't use this type of advertising because it was proven not to be as effective as getting consent. What type of consent is there by putting up call flutes on public property to spread the dissemination that people don't just put one call flute up, and the bigger parties often put multiples to give the illusion that they are more popular and bigger in support than they are? Dr. Hughes seems to be a little bit 50 cents each way. To continue the article, it's an in-your-face way of campaigning, he said. Permission marketing is more effective because you've said yes compared with not. Hughes says in the article, and I quote, "Permission marketing is more effective because you've said yes compared with not getting your permission. Once again, this is a hat. Would you like it? Yes, thank you. I'll wear it." While historic campaigns have included the handing out of merchandise, including Kevin 07 t-shirts and Donald Trump Make America Great Again caps, Dr. Hughes said the United Australia Party was different because it was a fringe party. Okay, Dr. Hughes, how do you define fringe? With the most members of any political party in Australia, including Liberal and Labor? Or is it based on the fact that they're fringe because they are only fielding a candidate in every single seat of the 151 available in the lower house and all states in the Senate and territories? A fringe party. Okay. But he said research showed this technique was unlikely to influence people at the ballot box. At the end of the day, we have to connect with policy, Dr. Hughes said. Okay. And that was the point of the article. So, ABC, I would be delighted to present myself to any radio, TV, or print part of your network, of which I am a taxpayer and a contributor. And I believe I have a right to speak to you as a candidate to explain my party's policies as they occur in my electorate of the seat of Patterson, in the part of the world near the Hunter Valley that extends from Lochinvar and Branxton in the west, through Maitland, Rutherford, and through Raymond Terrace and Madawi, all the way up to Port Stephens, which encases Nelson Bay, Salamander Bay, Anna Bay, Lemon Tree Passage, and a number of other beautiful suburbs in that area. I will explain my policies as they are in my electorate and national policies as they are. And should anyone have a problem with their hat, I will be delighted to come personally to pick them up. They can post them back, they can throw them out, or they can give them to somebody who would like them. I'm sorry that all of you feel so deeply offended that a hat was given out and policies weren't explained. So to call this article for what it is, I'm only too happy once again to say I will go on and explain all of the party policies. You can find those party policies on our website for the party, unitedaustraliaparty.org.au, and you can also find them directly on my page, jasonolborncandidate.com, or my Facebook page as the Facebook page of the party, Jason Olborn, candidate, Patterson, UAP. And you can find United Australia Party on Facebook as well. There are an abundance of opportunities to be able to explain that. And should somebody be unable to understand English, we are absolutely happy for them to bring an interpreter along and we can explain them exactly the same way. No one need not know what a United Australia Party policy is as the election forms. And you know what? What a great idea that all parties have an equal platform on our ABC, that anyone running in this election can equally be able to explain theirs. Perhaps that is what the ABC should be used for, and not for only providing a platform for the major parties that form part of the establishment, but for all people to be represented as part of diversity, multiculturalism, and the idea that you will not and cannot discriminate against any single Australian. This is Jason Olborn reporting for World Series News as a candidate himself for the United Australia Party. So therefore, I authorise this particular communication as it is both news and perhaps political marketing itself. I aim to disrupt the whole process of what's going on in this election to make sure that the people truly do understand what is going on. And I'm only too happy to explain this to anyone who will listen. And the ABC, as our media platform for the whole country, it is your duty to report this. I look forward to people getting in touch with me on the appropriate communications, either through this or through my phone number and or email, as you will find them on my website, as mentioned before, and my Facebook pages. Thanking you for watching this extended version of how you read a newspaper article that has meant that journalism has absolutely lost its mind in 2022. I'm Jason Olborn. I'll catch you on the next communication.